In the heart of the savannah, beneath the sweltering sun, and the indifferent gaze of vultures circling overhead, there lies a grotesque tableau that defies the usual majesty associated with the king of beasts. A lion, once the embodiment of raw, splendid power, is now a silhouette of suffering, marked by a hideous wound that resembles a honeycomb stitched directly into its flesh. This is no ordinary injury. It is a hive, not of hope or sweetness, but of a ravenous, stinging invasion embedded deep within the great cat's flesh. The sight is jarring, a disturbing juxtaposition of nature's elegance and its brutal capacity for decay. This lion's body tells a dark and twisted story, where nature's smallest architects have not only breached the natural order, but have weaponized their own existence to the detriment of one of its mightiest creatures. The hive wound is not just a colony of bees. It is an infestation, a flourishing, oozing gash, throbbing with life that should never have found purchase on something so regal. The thickened, swollen flesh around the hive is mottled with crusty scabs and pus, a vivid reminder of the lion's relentless agony. The bees, driven by instinct but oblivious to the suffering they sow, buzz incessantly, their drone a maddening soundtrack to this nightmare. Bee infestation on a lion is a rare but brutal phenomenon. It begins when a lion, often weakened by age, illness, or injury, unwittingly roars too close to a wild beehive or disturbs a swarm defending its home. When the lion succumbs to the onslaught of stings, its healthy defenses falter, a microscopic battle gone monstrous. The bees, opportunistic and relentless, capitalize on scratches and open wounds, gradually establishing their hive deep within the lion's skin. This infestation evolves from an irritation to a full-blown crisis. The lion's body becomes a host not just to parasites, but to a fortress of venomous cells and irritated nerves. The wound itself is a grotesque patchwork of raw skin and hard waxen walls, each cell a prison for dozens of honey-producing bees marching with mechanical precision. The lion's mane on one side is matted with blood and honey, the sweet sap mixing with the sharp sting of infection. Flies and other small carrion feeders hover around the site, drawn to the scent of decay and chemical warfare. The lion's normal golden glory is marred by morbid patches of necrosis, the flesh partially dead and blackened, making the entire mass look like some ancient relic found in a forgotten crypt. What's truly unsettling is the silent, invisible war waged inside the lion's body. Bee venom, chemically complex and designed to immobilize and incapacitate, spreads its poison through muscle and tissue, causing swelling that can choke off circulation. And in the shadowed realm of the untamed wilderness, where survival is a relentless struggle and beauty often masks brutality, a sinister scene unfolds. Here, amidst the dense brush and whispered secrets of the forest, a lone leopard staggers, not with the grace that defines its kind, but burdened by a grotesque tableau of nature's darker side. A festering hive of bees has woven itself into the raw flesh of this magnificent predator. This is not just an injury, but an infestation, a living horror that clings to the leopard's body, a nightmarish fusion of predator and parasite. Its once sleek coat is marred by oozing wounds and a pulsating mass of buzzing insects. A hive grotesquely grafted onto the flesh like some hideous crown of thorns. This macabre sight forces us to confront the brutal realities of life and death in the wild, where symbiosis can flicker just as easily into horrifying coexistence. The bees, fundamental architects of pollination and life elsewhere, here become unwelcome invaders, a swarm exploiting the vulnerabilities of a wounded apex hunter. The wound itself, likely inflicted by a rival or a precarious fall onto a thorny branch, offers the perfect storm of opening for these stinging squatters. Bees, driven by instincts honed through millennia, seize refuge within the warm flesh of the leopard, building waxen cells amidst the festering scars. Beneath their industrious construction lies a grim tableau, the predator transformed into unwilling host. Its flesh scarred, its movements sluggish, each step a painful symphony of agony. As the infestation progresses, the hive thickens and grows, its waxy chambers glimmering with an eerie sheen amid the dried blood and swollen tissue. The bees' relentless labor crafts hexagonal cells packed not with sweet honey, but with the dark spoils of decay and flesh-bound fluids, an unsettling blend of life and rot. The leopard's skin swells grotesquely around the hive, inflamed and infected, evidence of nature's cruel indifference. Millions of tiny wings beat a dissonant rhythm that echoes the chaos within. their stings a cocktail of venom exacerbating the wound. Occasionally, the leopard attempts to claw and bite at the hive, but the pain is overwhelming, the desperation palpable, and the bees retaliate with furious, incessant stings. This interspecies battle is a distortion of natural order, a grim dance of survival and torment. Underneath the surface, scientific curiosity contemplates the nature of this infection. Beehives depend on a queen to orchestrate the colony's complex social fabric. And in this abnormal habitat, a queen's presence suggests an eerie adaptation. Was the wound discovered and claimed by opportunistic scout bees, or did a displaced swarm find refuge in the chaos of the leopard's injury? The biology is fascinating yet repulsive, a stark demonstration of the opportunistic nature of life forms, perpetually pressing against the boundaries of coexistence. The interaction serves as a grotesque metaphor for the fragile balance within ecosystems. While bees typically foster growth and renewal through pollination, here they exploit a niche of biological failure, blurring the lines between victim and beneficiary. To witness a leopard, usually apex and inscrutable, reduced to a wounded host challenges our romantic ideas of the wild, exposing a reality where suffering can become home and monstrosity can be survival. The buzzing hive on raw, bleeding flesh whispers a story of ecology's cruel side, unfiltered and unflinching. Peeling back the layers, the infestation also becomes a reflection on the intricate entanglement of all life. Predator, prey, parasite, trapped together in cycles of decay and renewal. We see themes of vulnerability and resilience infiltrating the very essence of existence. A reminder that every creature, no matter how fierce, bears marks of susceptibility. The leopard's plight hints at a dark symbiotic relationship that defies easy classification. The bees benefit by creating shelter, while the leopard suffers, a host captive to nature's morbid improvisations. But beyond the immediate horror lies a deeper, unsettling commentary on humanity's complex, often destructive relationship with nature. We too are part of this web, our actions rippling outward like a bee's sting that disrupts more than just one creature. The festering wound on this wildcat can symbolically represent the wounds humans inflict on the planet itself. We break, we perish, and sometimes, like these bees, we exploit the weaknesses we find, carving in the quiet expanse of a forgotten pasture. Where the soft breeze carries whispers of nature's secrets, stands a white horse, an apparition stark against the green. But it is no serene vision. This creature is haunted by a grotesque affliction that seems torn from the pages of a nightmare. Its flank is marred by a horrific beehive wound, a swollen, pulsating nightmare of waxy cells and crawling insects. The stench of decay and desperation weaves through the air, each angry buzz a chilling reminder of the invasive swarm that has claimed this noble beast as its unwilling host. The infestation itself is a biological drama unfolding in real time. Thousands of bees have colonized the horse's flesh with a ruthless efficiency. The hive, once a structure of hexagonal perfect order, now drips with infected fluids and necrotic tissue, the pale white skin barely visible beneath the writhing mass of bees. These tiny architects and warriors strike and sting with relentless fury, defending their throne at the expense of the horse's well-being. The opening, cracked and raw, paints a macabre picture of parasitism, honeycomb. In the searing heart of the savannah, where life teeters on the razor's edge between survival and oblivion, an unsettling spectacle unfolds. A lion, once the majestic monarch of this arid realm, now reduced to a ghastly tableau of nature's cruel sketches. His tawny mane, tangled and dusty, barely conceals the grotesque wound festering along his flank. What appears at first glance to be a monstrous scar, throbbing and oozing, is actually a hive, a pulsating, writhing mass of honeycomb-like structures, each honey-filled cell invaded and commandeered by an unholy legion of bees. This isn't a mere injury. It's a living nightmare made flesh. The hive clings to him like a malignant tumor, its surface shimmering with bees inching in and out, their bodies black and yellow streaks of relentless torment. The horror is not just in the sight, but in the story it tells. This lion, the embodiment of raw power and regal dominance, falls prey to a strange, insidious foe from an entirely different kingdom of life, a swarm of bees whose invasion is both a biological anomaly and an act of nature's indifference. The wound, riddled with honey and pus, emits a sickly sweetness that attracts flies, compounding the carnage. It is the perfect coexistence of decay and life. The lion is alive, but only barely, his flesh a decaying landscape. The bees thrive atop this grotesque platform, a macabre symbiosis of predator and parasite. Bee infestation of a lion is a rare but devastating phenomenon. These bees, likely African honeybees or their aggressive cousins, the so-called killer bees, have found refuge in the open wound. Normally, bees build their hives in tree crevices or protected spaces, but this lion's injury offers an unexpected sanctuary warm, protected by the beast's body and undisturbed by the usual environment wreaking havoc around them. The bees exploit the oxygen-rich environment, their minute bodies working tirelessly, secreting wax and building the hive cell by cell. Inside, the brood thrives, nurtured by the sweet honey and the nutrients seeping from the lion's tissue. The wound is both hive and host, a gruesome paradox where the invaders slowly eat into their host, destabilizing his health by feeding. In the vast, untamed wilderness, where the sun casts long shadows over the rolling plains, a solitary bison roams, its massive frame a testament to the resilience of nature. But this is no ordinary bison. It bears a gruesome wound, a gaping hole in its side, a horrific reminder of a wasp nest that has taken root in its flesh. And as the camera zooms in, the viewer is met with a sight that is both shocking and fascinating, a living creature marred by the relentless assault of nature's most unyielding architects. Bison, a symbol of strength and endurance, now stands as a canvas for the dark side of the natural world, where survival often comes at a gruesome price. The wasp infestation is a brutal affair. These tiny winged marauders, driven by instinct and a relentless need to propagate their species, have found a perfect host in the bison. They burrow into the soft tissue, laying their eggs within the warm confines of the animal's body. As the larvae hatch, they feast on the bison's flesh, creating a grotesque symbiosis that is as horrifying as it is fascinating. The bison, in its struggle for survival, becomes a living incubator, a host to a swarm of insatiable predators. The pain and suffering it endures are palpable, yet it continues to roam the plains, a testament to the harsh realities of life in the wild. This dark dance of life and death raises unsettling questions about the balance of nature. The bison, once a majestic creature, is now a victim of a cruel twist of fate, a reminder that, in the wild, beauty often masks brutality. The wasps, in their relentless pursuit of survival, embody the harsh truth of existence that life feeds on life, often in the most grotesque way. In the shadowy heart of an ancient jungle, a disturbing scene unfolds, one that stakes its claim in the cruder stains of nature's relentless grind. Here lies a solitary tiger, its majestic orange fur marred by a grievous, festering wound. This is no ordinary injury, but a grotesque hive swelling grotesquely from its flesh. A hive built not by the wild hands of nature's usual suspects, but by the relentless invasion of bees. The once proud beast now wears a buzzing battalion upon its skin, an unsettling fortress of hexagonal horrors that clings and claws into the very sinew beneath the fur. The hive sprawls grotesquely, a pulsing, sickening mass that waxes and wanes like some grotesque candle made of living bees. Bees, those industrious architects of sweetness and sting, have transformed from humble pollinators into warring invaders, enveloping the tiger's wound in a chaotic swarm. Their tiny bodies cover the skin, their buzzing creating a sinister soundtrack, darkly poetic in its persistence. The hive is an alien growth, a layered amalgam of wax and venom, secreting toxins that slowly invade the tiger's tissue, causing swelling, pain, and a slow decay of flesh. It's a grim juxtaposition, the predator,